So I don't know what you guys use to study before an exam or whatever, but I love to use the LearnSmart modules in the reports feature. Have you guys ever done any of that?
What is the reports feature?
Yeah, tell me
So
about
basically, if you're in LearnSmart, on the left-hand side, there's something called the reports feature, and you can go to that, and there's like 5 or 6 different options for how you can kind of assess yourself and assess your own learning. And one of my favorites is the module details feature, because that breaks things up by individual chapter, so I can look at one chapter and see how I'm doing in that. It gives me a percentage of the questions that I got right and wrong. And even further, I can break it up into sections in a chapter, so I can see, okay, I did really well learning about the histology of this, but I did really poorly on learning about muscle tissue, and so I can focus exactly on what I need to study for the exam. The report features really help me understand what my strengths and weaknesses are as a student, and I mean, there's a whole confidence thing, you know. Being able to know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, my strengths and weaknesses, helps me feel a kind of an ownership over my own education.
The knowledge tree is also one of the buttons on the side, and it basically just keeps track of what you're learning. And so it's just a really nice feature.
So is there any way that we would even be able to tell what we do know and what we didn't know? If
well,
we
I think
didn't
there are
have?
parts you can like click on, and then it'll like direct you to like what you need to refresh your memory on.
Yeah, I mean, in the module details, when you open it up, if you go to, say, chapter 22, whatever that is, and then you break it down into sections of that chapter, you can see along the side they'll have between 1 and 100%, and it'll show you of the questions you answered in that section, what percent you got right. And then it'll have a little part, so you can go right to the ebook from there.
So if I have like 5%, I know that's the
Yeah,
part
if
that
you
I
have,
need to focus on.
yeah.
That's really cool though, because I know like my professor's always telling me like, don't study the stuff you know, because that's the stuff you're gonna get right. Study the stuff you don't know.
That's why it's
But
great
half
to help
the
you
time-
focus your study.
And half the time I'm like, I don't know what I already know, because you have to be able to assess it. So I'm definitely gonna
Yeah,
check
so how
that
do
out.
you know
and
what
see
you
that's
don't
like.
know?
I've never used the final reports, but whenever I study for an exam, I want to know like what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing well, doing with like old practice exams my teachers post, and I never really know from what chapter they're from. And you have to go back in the chapters, find the terms that you don't know, and if it's all right there for you,
Yeah.
That sounds like it'd really make my time a lot easier.
And there's also, similar to the module details, there's the most challenging learning objectives feature, which is, it's kind of a similar concept. It breaks things down, instead of by individual question, it's like greater concepts that you're struggling with the most. And so you can, again, it's directly linked to the ebook, so you can go right to those concepts and you can just study those.
I think what I appreciate most about all those features that you guys just outlined is that it really makes your time used the most efficient way possible. There's so little time for me to study when you're taking five different classes that I wish that I had more classes with LearnSmart this semester, because I studied management like when I was at work or when I was in line somewhere. Like those were literally the only times I ever studied management, because I had so much time to study management because I had it with me wherever I was. But these other 4 classes that I was taking that were like traditional, you know, read the book kind of classes, I had to sit down and I had to dedicate the time to that. And you can sit down and dedicate the time to LearnSmart, but like I said, the time management feature there is huge.
It allowed me to take those flashcards and the information that I needed to learn with me wherever I was with the iPhone app, which was really helpful, because whenever I had a little bit of downtime, I was able to drill a few terms and think about those terms while I went on with my day.
You can do it when you need to. I mean, it's your time.
Absolutely. I think one thing we all
gotta
struggle
work
with
to your schedule.
We all struggle with time management problems because we're all very involved. You know, we're all in 5 classes. I'm taking the same thing, but along with that, you got clubs, you got activities.
Jobs.
You have a social life to balance if you want one of those as well.
You guys have
so-
social lives?
What actually blows me away the most about that is that LearnSmart is something that can be used by everybody, but it's so individualized, because you're saying, like, you know, we don't have the time to really study, you know, put our full entire effort into it. So whenever we do have time to study, we have to make sure it counts and it matters. And LearnSmart kind of makes sure we don't waste time when we study. They make sure that it's always, you know, catered to our needs so we can study most efficiently.